Good afternoon, or I guess good morning, depending on where you're located. My name is David Holliday. I work for the National Student Exchange. NSE is a consortium of colleges, about 175 schools that offer undergraduate study away opportunities for students throughout the United States, Canada, as well as Guam, Puerto Rico, or the US Virgin Islands. Today's session of the NSE Virtual Fair is featuring campuses that offer opportunities for LGBTQ plus students. There are 9 campuses that will be presenting today. They're listed up here on the screen. Each campus will talk for about 2 or 3 minutes about their campus, but specifically opportunities for LGBTQ plus students on those campuses. Just a couple of notes on Zoom etiquette. Please keep yourself on mute unless you're ready to ask a question. And presenters, also make sure that you unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. So at the end of presentations, each campus will present for about 2 or 3 minutes. We will then open up the breakout rooms, and this offers you an opportunity to go and meet one-on-one or with small groups of people at that particular campus. Each breakout room will be named per campus, and so you can move yourself into a breakout room. We also encourage you to visit multiple campuses. You can move yourself around the breakout rooms. I wanted to give a quick introduction of the National Student Exchange if you're not familiar with us. NSE was founded in 1968 when there are 3 campuses in the United States that decided they wanted to give their students a unique perspective, get students outside their comfort zone. Of course, in 1968, really the peak of the civil rights movement, this was a really important opportunity for students to have. Studying domestically and having intercultural learning opportunities is really what NSE is all about. So fast forward 63 years later, 53 years later, my math's not good. We're still offering this same opportunity for students to exchange from one campus to another. We have 175 campuses located all across the United States, Canada, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. There are many opportunities available for students academically, personally, professionally through this exchange program. And so it's a really valuable experience. You can learn more about NSE at our website, www.nse.org. We're also on social media, so make sure you're following us on all of those platforms. As I said earlier, today's session is featuring opportunities for LGBTQ plus students at about 9 of our campuses. We're really excited about these campuses joining us today to talk about themselves, their campus, their opportunities for incoming students. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Eastern Washington University.
Hi, it's great to be with all of you guys. My name is Maggie Hardy. I'm the LGBTQ plus coordinator at Eastern Washington University for our Pride Center. Eastern Washington University is, you can go to the next slide. Eastern Washington University is a small campus. We're about 12,000 students. We are a 4-year public university. And we have about 5 different colleges, including a bunch of different areas of study, our most popular being our education program, which is one of the best on the West Coast. We started as a teaching college, and now we're here. We have a pretty small class size of 25, and our student to staff ratio is about 1 to 12. And you can go to the next. We're really a small college town. Cheney itself, which is where Eastern Washington University is more college than town, but we have very easy access to Spokane, which is the 2nd largest city in Washington. There's tons of good shopping there. Definitely a good way to find community. And Eastern Washington offers free access to our bus system. And we boast a very vibrant and active queer campus community for our students. And to talk a little bit about that, you can go to next. We have tons of stuff on our campus for our queer students. Like I said, I work in the Pride Center, which is our student center. We opened 11 years ago after some major student activism on our campus. And we've been serving students ever since. We recently moved into our union building, so we're right in the heart of campus. And the Pride Center puts on a lot of different resources and events for our students, including our student organization, Eagle Pride, which helps do things like our annual Pride Week, where we do things like student clothing exchanges for our trans students, educational documentary series, and even student drag shows. In the last couple of years, Eastern Washington also added on-campus gender-inclusive housing for our students, which is really big. We're the only campus in Washington who offers this. And that is an entire floor in one of our biggest residence halls where any student can live with any other student, regardless of gender, and all of the showers and bathrooms are all inclusive of everyone. We also have a lot of things like preferred name and pronouns options on Zoom, Canvas. All of our university systems have options so that you can make sure that as a student, you and your identity are respected. And like I said, we do things like a drag show. Along with having a student drag show, we also invite our local drag queens to our campus once every year to get our students connected with our wider community. And our biggest event of the year is our annual lavender graduation. We put this on every year for not only our campus, but also other universities and high schools throughout the inland Northwest. And it ends up being a very big celebration of you and your accomplishments at university. We'd love to see you here. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the breakout rooms.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Maggie. Next up, we have Montclair State University.
Hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Wendy Gilbert Simone from Montclair State University, the NSE coordinator here, and I'll do a general introduction before handing over to my colleague, Ebony. Next. So the thing to remember about Montclair is key locations. We are located, as you can tell, within sight of New York City. With all the advantages that come from that, the diversity of our student population, and the wide diversity of our academic offerings. Founded in 1908 as a teachers' college, about 21,000 students, and a spacious green campus, and yet within sight of New York. Next. So as I mentioned, we are just 14 miles from New York City, and there are train stations right on campus, as well as a bus line right on campus. Be in New York between the residence hall and the dorm in about 45 minutes, $7 round trip. Next. The town of Montclair itself is a bedroom community to New York City, about 37,000 population, many of whom are professionals working in New York and commuting in. But it's a very green environment and easily can be your hometown and the East Coast as well. Next. So a couple of quick facts, about 300 majors and minors, 21,000 students, both undergraduate and graduate, student to teacher ratio 17:1, average class size 24, about 5,000 students living on campus, and about 30 minutes from Newark Airport. Next. And I'd like to introduce Ebony. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ebony Jackson. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am the Assistant Director of the Office for Social Justice and Diversity here at Montclair State, which houses the LGBTQ Center, which is one of our 4 identity centers in our office. I'm also a double alum of Montclair State University. I'm receiving my bachelor's in 2014 and my master's in 2016. So I love Montclair State. Here with the LGBTQ Center, we have lots of services and such. Generally with the university, currently this year, Montclair State University is the only New Jersey school listed amongst the top LGBTQ friendly colleges and universities. We've been on Campus Pride's Best of the Best list for the past 6 or 7 years, and we are a 5 out of 5-star university on Campus Pride with their Campus Pride Index. We have a preferred name policy in which students names the name that they use, not necessarily the name that is on legal documents like their driver's license or birth certificate. They can use their username on their IDs, their email, class rosters, in the cafeteria and other areas. We have Stonewall Suites, which is an LGBTQA living community in which we provide programming and very specific opportunities for students or residents that live there. We also have a trans-inclusive healthcare in our student health insurance plan in which trans students There are some procedures that may be surgical or medical, whether it is therapy or maybe some other procedure is covered in their student health insurance plan. Here in some images, we've attended New York City Pride and marched in New York City Pride for several years. We've had a Vogue workshop. We celebrated 10 years of the LGBTQ Center in 2019, one of which Olivia Lux, who is actually an alum of Montclair State and was also on RuPaul's Drag Race, performed at that event. You can go to the next slide. With our LGBTQ Center, we have various discussion groups for various identities, such as transcending boundaries for our trans group, our trans community on campus, women's group for queer and trans women, and so on and so forth. We have a safe space training program that encourages our campus community to be allies and affirming of our LGBTQ community on campus. We have various events and programs, one of which is our Lavender graduation. We also have held drag competition. We hold coming out panels. We have theme weeks like Coming Out Week and Transgender Visibility Week, in which we hold a Transgender Day of Remembrance candlelight vigil to memorialize all the trans people whose lives were lost to transphobia within the previous year. We also have student volunteers called our OSJD ambassadors who lead our discussion groups, our workshops, and also help plan and staff our events. The university has various gender inclusive restrooms, all of which the locations are on our website. Also lactation rooms for those who would need those. We have a GLBTQ studies minor within the Gender, Sexuality, Women's Studies department. There's a Trans at Montclair State resource website that provides resources for our trans students, as well as faculty, staff, and even our students to understand a little bit more how to support our trans community. And there are various LGBTQ student organizations here at Montclair State. That's all we have for now. And I look forward to speaking with some of you in the breakout rooms.
Thanks so much, Ebony and Wendy. Next up, we have the University of New Hampshire.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, my name is Paula DiNardo, and I am the coordinator at the University of New Hampshire, which is located in Durham, New Hampshire. My personal introduction, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm also a member of the LGBT community and a parent of a member of the LGBT community. So when I started putting this presentation together, I was really trying to step outside of my own identity and my own experience being on this campus for 30 years and try to see it from a student perspective. So I'll start first with some UNH quick facts. Small Research One University, 50% of our students do live on campus, and we are in a very quaint New England setting near the coast with access to public transportation and access to the cities that are near us. We have a full calendar of seasons, and sometimes you can experience them in the same day here. We are a member of NSE under the home plan only, and we offer our NSE students priority registration as much as we can possibly manage it. I'd like to say at the bottom of the slide is my contact information. If you want to reach out to me individually, go ahead and screenshot that or write that down. I look forward to working with you. Next slide, David. So as I said, I was concerned that I was going to approach these slides from my own personal background. So I went to Campus Pride Index, as Ebony also did, and looked at what it said about my university. And I was happy to see that we rank as a 4.5. So on the LGBTQ scale of friendly campuses, we're not where we want to be, but we have come a long way in the last 10 or so years. Our Campus Pride Index is 4.5, and some of our strengths are in the area of campus life, student life, and inclusive policies. And we're still working on some things like our recruitment and retention effort, but I'm really proud of how far we've come with campus safety and with our residential life and student life. We do offer, like some other campuses, housing options, preferred name and pronoun options. David, next slide, please. We have a center called the Beauregard Center for Equity, Justice, and Freedom located in our student union. Recently renovated, really beautiful space that's celebratory and supportive in nature. Like other schools, we have a variety of LGBTQ friendly student orgs, housing options, and our health resources are very LGBTQ friendly. The first item on this checklist is our annual LGBTQ plus pancake breakfast, which is a tradition that's been on this campus for almost 30 years. It has a great long history of annually celebrating the local community and having dignitaries speak, and it's free to all students and members of the community. It's a wonderful tradition that we've had for a very long time. And yeah, we had it long before it was a cool thing to do. It was very fun to start that tradition. So at the bottom there is a URL for some of our resources if you're interested in looking those up yourself. And next slide. And again, like the other campuses, we have a lot of things going on. I just took some screenshots of some of the bigger events that we have in support of LGBT students, faculty, and staff, student organizations, educational events, as well as events that are celebratory, that are for the community. I want to throw in there that we have very out and open members of the community amongst our faculty, staff, and even a couple of the deans, which is really wonderful for the students to see the representation. At the bottom of the slide is a QR code for you to scan if you want to learn about our NSE program. There's a section there for incoming students, and I'd welcome to hear from you from any school if you would like to contact me. So thanks for considering UNH.
Thanks, Paula. Next up, we have University of Calgary.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tara, and I'm the NSE coordinator here at the University of Calgary. So starting with this picture, at UCalgary, we do look forward to welcoming you to campus in fall semester during Pride Week here in Calgary. And hopefully next year, we'll bring a return to our in-person parade on the Sunday of the Labor Day long weekend. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Calgary. We're located on the traditional territory of the Treaty 7 peoples. When I say that this is Treaty 7 land, I'm referring to a treaty or agreement that was made between the early Canadian government and the First Nations Indigenous peoples of Alberta, who still have a very strong presence in this area. Calgary is currently home to about 1.5 million people, and most of the population is in a younger demographic around the ages of 20 to 40s. It's also a very diverse city. More than a quarter of the populations are immigrant. As a result, we're known for being a city of festivals and not just Pride. There's a large student population in Calgary, and many of the citywide events are targeted towards students, which means there are opportunities for you to get involved in the local community and build a really good social network. Next slide, please. So, of course, as a UCalgary student, you'll likely be spending much of your time on our campus. Currently, we have about 30,000 students and welcome several hundred exchange students every year. The campus has multiple buildings with grassy parks in between, or snowy parks, as you can see in the picture of our Pride Steps outside of the Students' Center. Luckily, almost every building on campus is connected by a network of tunnels, so you can get up in the morning and go to class without having to walk through the snow. The campus is also on our city transit line, so you can easily travel by train or bus using your student pass. Other good things to know about UCalgary is that we're considered leaders in sustainability here in Canada, and we're also proud to say that we have Olympic class athletics facilities, including pools, climbing walls, and the fastest ice in North America at our skating rinks, because we were the '88 Olympic hosts. The university sports team is called the Dinos, which is an homage to all of the dinosaur fossils that have been found in our area. Next slide, please. So a little bit about being an exchange student in Calgary. You can come in either the fall or what we call our winter or spring in NSE terms semesters, or for a full academic year. So you can choose courses from 3 faculties. It is allowed to mix and match courses. So example, if you're a biology student and want to take a history class, totally fine. Our deadline is soon after the NSE placement conference, so please be ready to apply. If you're able to finish your application by the March 15th priority deadline, you will have the best access to course registration. We normally recommend budgeting between $7,000 and $8,000 Canadian per semester. Of course, this will depend on your lifestyle and where you choose to live, and it can vary. So most exchange students do choose to live on our campus. And while campus residence isn't guaranteed, as long as you follow our instructions to apply on time, it's very likely you'll be offered a room. Once your exchange starts, there's lots of resources available to you. Some of them are specifically for international students, such as orientation and the mentorship program. There are hundreds of student clubs to join. And if we go to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about the Two-Spirit LGBTQ+ resources on our campus and in the community. So the main one is the Q Center. It's on the main floor of our student center, and it's both a safe physical space as well as a place for LGBTQ plus students and allies to connect and hold events. They've got a great queer mentoring program connecting undergrads with older queer role models on campus. We've got quite a lot as well. One of the clubs that is one of our 300 plus student clubs is Queers on Campus. Our off-campus also offers many gender neutral restrooms available on the Q Center website. And our Women's Resource Center is a trans-inclusive space. And UCalgary has been a partner of Calgary Pride since 2016. Going into the greater Calgary community, we've got Outlink, which provides a safe space that's quite like our Q Center with access to multiple resources in the community. Some other ones to point out are the Queer Arts Society, which hosts one of Canada's largest LGBTQ plus film festivals, as well as the Coming Out monologues. The Center for Sexuality provides inclusive sexual and reproductive health programming. For queer people of faith, Calgary is home to over 30 LGBTQ affirming faith communities, including our own YYC campus ministries, as well as representative communities of the Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, and Muslims. And finally, YYC Voices is a coalition of two-spirited, trans, queer, and straight people of color. So I look forward to chatting with you in the breakout room, and hopefully we'll be happy to invite you to Calgary. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Next up, we have Prairie View A&M University. And as I'm looking through the attendees, I actually don't see Elma. So we will advance and hopefully Elma's able to join us. So let's move on to Towson University.
Thanks, David. Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Villamora, and I'm the NSE coordinator at Towson University in Maryland. We strive to foster an inclusive and educated campus community where all students feel welcome, supported, valued, and engaged at Towson. I hope that you'll consider joining us in the spring and the fall or some term in the future. I want to just make a note that all us NSE students are given senior priority to register for classes and can elect to live in gender inclusive housing during their exchange with us. Housing is not guaranteed, but applying by the priority deadline and completing your housing application on time makes it very likely that you will get on-campus housing. I've invited my colleague Annie Reno to share a bit of information about our university today and about our community. And I look forward to speaking with you in the breakout rooms. While Annie presents, I'll share a few queer-friendly links in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. And we can move on to the next slide. So a little bit about where Towson is. We are right outside of Baltimore. So the town of Towson is a very suburban environment, kind of a small-ish city, around 59,000 residents, but it's only about 20 minutes from Towson's campus to that view you see, which is Baltimore's Inner Harbor. Baltimore is obviously a city, about 600,000 residents, very inclusive community. They actually have one of the oldest Pride celebrations in the US. I believe they're in their 40-something years celebrating Pride. It's also the headquarters for the Pride Maryland, which is a nonprofit organization that supports the LGBTQ community in Maryland. We're also about an hour away from Washington, D.C., about 2 hours from Philadelphia, 3 hours from New York City, all really accessible. We have free TU shuttles for our students that would take you to Penn Station in Baltimore. And then from there, it's just a quick train ride or just a quick bus ride to kind of those major destinations here on the East Coast. Next slide, please. So a little bit specifically about Towson University, we are the fastest growing institution in the entire state of Maryland. Our total student population right now, just under 23,000. We actually just enrolled our most diverse freshman class ever for the fall 2021 semester. So about 59% of our freshmen this year identify as non-white, and about 22% of students are first generation college students. So it really is a very diverse and very inclusive community. Because we are a larger institution, we know that we have students coming from all different backgrounds with all different interests. Like many other schools on this panel today, we were founded as a teachers college originally, so very much that passion for making sure our faculty are truly here to teach students. We have over 100 different majors, minors, concentrations, and tracks that are housed within 6 different academic colleges. And like Katie mentioned, you would get priority registration. So depending on your major of interest, it can be really helpful to kind of get first dibs on those classes. We also do have an LGBTQ minor within our Women's and Gender Studies program. Next slide, please. So obviously there's more to college life than just academics. So a little bit about kind of the Towson University community. Because we are a large institution, again, we have a little bit of everything. And you can see that link involved.towson.edu. You can actually check that out. You don't need like a secret Towson login or anything like that. So you can see what student clubs and organizations we have. A little bit of those categories are listed here on the screen, everything from academic and professional to sports clubs. We are D1 for athletics, so kind of that stereotypical big school spirit feeling. And then if you move on to the next slide, please. We also specifically have clubs and organizations for LGBTQ support. So a lot of that is through our Center for Student Diversity, which does offer a full LGBTQ plus student development program. Through the CSD, the Center for Student Diversity, they run things like the Trans Day of Remembrance, our annual Lavender Celebration. They have a Pride Mentor program to connect new students to current TU students and staff to kind of help navigate the community here at Towson. And then we also have a TU Ally program as well. So a little bit of everything here at Towson. The screenshot that you see on the screen is if you search for diversity in the link that Katie so helpfully dropped. Those are the first 3 that show up that are specific to the LGBTQ community. So it's just a snapshot of TU. Katie and I look forward to speaking with you more in the breakout rooms. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Katie and Annie. Another coordinator informed me that Elma Gonzalez from Prairie View A&M may not be here today because of Hurricane Nicholas. That's, I think, bearing down on that part of Texas. So my thoughts are with Elma and that campus. Next up, we have University of Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gemma, the NSE coordinator at UW Green Bay. We look forward to welcoming you to our campus. I have a couple slides of general information, and then I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Nicole, on the Pride Center, and we look forward to talking with you in the break rooms. Slide, please. So UW Green Bay has about 8,000 students total across 4 different campuses. NSE students can exchange to any campus, but most will come to our main campus based in the city of Green Bay. We also have satellite or alternative locations in Manitowoc, Marinette, and Sheboygan. All of our campuses have gorgeous locations right on the Bay of Green Bay or Lake Michigan, as well as the main campus at Green Bay has 700 acres of arboretum surrounding the campus full of nature trails, biking trails, opportunities to kayak on the bay with rentals through our sports center and things like that. We also have a ton of different course options across over 100 different majors, from psychology to water science to biology, education psychology, and very personal attention and personal connections with our faculty. We also have a lot of really experiential learning opportunities, including internships, field trips and visits through different classes, especially our biology courses. We're also the higher education partner of the Green Bay Packers, for those of you who like football, but also that leads to a lot of great connections with our Titletown Business District, the Packers organization in terms of events, internships, things like that. And also don't forget the 3 T's of UW Green Bay: tunnels, toilets, and trees. So I mentioned the trees already. Tunnels, we also have concourses connecting all of our academic buildings, so it's great on a rainy or cold day. And then all of our residence halls have their own bathroom for students. So NSE students are either typically placed in our shared apartment settings or our residence halls, where you share a room with one other student, but you have your own bathroom in that same room. Next slide, please. We're also a D1 athletic campus. We're known for basketball, softball, soccer, things like that. So there's lots of really great sporting events, both on the campus itself, but also in the Green Bay community for professional and semi-professional sports. We have a ton of student organizations, anything you can think of, a lot of outdoor rec trips and student life trips that go to Chicago and elsewhere around the area as well. We're also very close to Milwaukee, Madison, Door County, which is a scenic location, and lots of state parks for those of you who like the outdoor settings. Also within the city itself, we have a lot of things for different interests, including farmers markets, book fairs, art festivals, and things like that. Next slide, please. I'll pass it over to Nicole.
Thanks, Gemma. Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm the coordinator for the Pride Center here. We actually have 5 locations. We have Manitowoc, Marinette, Sheboygan, our main campus, and then we also have a unique partnership with our athletics. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We were founded in 2011. We also have SAIL, which is our safe and inclusive living. It's open to all genders in one of our apartment style suites. We do use pronoun usage wide and far on this campus. Name changes are a very easy process to do here, so you can go by whatever name you would like to, and there's a very easy sign up process. Pride Camp, we offer middle school and high school Pride Camp here, so if that's something you were looking to get involved in, we're always looking for members on our leadership committee team and also interns. We have paid intern positions and also intern positions for credit. Pride Index, we're listed in the Pride Index. We've been in the top 5. We're usually in the top 30. We're very proud of that fact. We have Lavender Leadership Awards every year at our Lavender graduation is where we recognize all of our graduating seniors. Halloween is one of our key events. It is a Halloween themed drag show. It's our 4th year running, and we're proud to keep bringing that to campus. We also do conferences where we take students that are interested in learning more about LGBTQIA+, and focus on that. Next slide. These are some of the events we're having this fall. So we have partnerships with SAIL where we do game nights. We always have book readings. We have books on audio and also reading in person. We do discussions with that. We have STI, STD testing. We have an Outside with Pride series. So if you like to go outdoors, camping, hiking, paddle boards, all that stuff, we do that. We also do Safe Ally training for our student, staff, and faculty, which we provide free of charge. We have diversity and equity certificates that are also free of charge that you can complete after you do that. And we can talk more about this in depth once we go into breakout rooms, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks so much, Nicole and Gemma. Next up, University of Wisconsin-La Crosse.
Hi, everybody. My name is Heather. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an admissions counselor at UWL. I'm surrounded by a few people here. In back of me, I have Miranda and Deja. They are our NSE coordinators. And to my side, I have Will, who's going to talk a little bit further down the road here. He works as the director of our Pride Center. So I want to give you just a really brief overview of UW-La Crosse. So as you can see, we're located on the western side of the state of Wisconsin, right alongside the beautiful Mississippi River. We are a mid-sized university with about 10,500 students. I always tell students that gives you the excitement and the opportunity of being on a larger campus, but the intimacy and personal attention of being on a smaller campus. We are an NCAA Division III athletic university, and so students are able to engage in athletic competition at the collegiate level, but also with that strong focus on both being a student and an athlete. We have over 200 clubs and student organizations available, and so you can explore your interest in athletics, in the arts, with a faith community, with a special interest group. You can really find that way to connect with other students who share your interests and passions, and to take on potentially even leadership opportunities while you're here. We're located between the Mississippi River and the Majestic Bluffs. And so often when students are at UW-La Crosse, they both go to the Mississippi River and go to events at Riverside Park right alongside the river. They'll also hike Grandad Bluff. And so they really get a lot of outdoor adventure. We're a mid-sized community. So think small, safe community where you're likely to run into your professors and your friends as you go about the city. Really easy to get around, no rush hour. However, when you want that big city excitement when you're here, you're not far from Madison, Minneapolis, Chicago, and other larger cities. We have over 100 different academic programs available, and so you can see there both popular majors as well as unique majors. I always hesitate to put majors up there because you think, well, if I don't see my major, does that mean it's not a popular major or not something they're well known for? In reality, we have a wide variety of majors across business, social sciences, humanities, natural sciences, education, exercise and sports science, many, many different areas. So that gives you an idea of who we are as a larger campus. I now want to bring it in and have Will talk a little bit more about services and opportunities specifically for you. Next slide, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Will Van Rosenbeek, and I use he, him, and they, them pronouns. The Pride Center has been on the UWL campus for 26 years and really got started because we had very much a passion to reach out to and support the LGBT community. The Pride Center offers students, faculty, and staff a welcoming space. We are here for anybody who is questioning, who is coming out or looking for support. Students can identify as trans and non-binary on the admissions form and can apply using a preferred name right from the start. We also are excited that we were ranked number 6 among the top LGBT-friendly colleges from affordablecollegesonline.org. I think some of that had to do because we do have a couple scholarships that we give out. New slide, please. The Pride Center has 2 student organizations that work within our group, and that's Rainbow Unity, which is a gender and sexuality alliance, and Transform, which is for trans and non-binary students. We take students every fall to the Midwest BLGTA College Conference. This year it's in Madison, Wisconsin, where they get a chance to attend workshops, keynote speakers, performers, and interact with a couple thousand LGBTQ college students, which is always really exciting. Pride Center also brings speakers, performers, and we host our annual drag show every year, which is our fundraiser for our student organizations. We educate the campus community on LGBTQ+ issues and provide programs for the whole campus, plus the community of La Crosse. We end our year with our rainbow graduation, celebrating all of those students that are graduating from UWL. We work closely with the Offices of Residence Life and International Education and Engagement to make sure your experience is the best it can be. We have gender inclusive housing in several residence halls, and we will work with you to make sure your housing experience is positive. We have all gender bathrooms in almost every building on campus, and we have those mapped out on our campus website. If you come to campus and want to use a preferred name and did not do it during the admission process, that's fine. We have a process that you can use by just registering with the registrar's office. This will update your name on your ID, your email, and all the class rosters. You also have choices for a preferred name on Canvas, which is the program that we use here. We also have a major and a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies. I just want to let y'all know that we are here for you. We will support you, advocate for you, and offer you opportunities to be part of our LGBTQ+ family. I look forward to speaking with you all in the breakout room. Thanks.
Thanks so much, team from University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Next up, we have University of Wisconsin-Whitewater.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yep.
All right. Sorry, I've been having technical difficulties with my camera and mic and everything, but thank you all for joining us here today. And thank you, David. My name is Dan Colleran. I am, my pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm a cis gay male. So I am here for you to welcome you to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater campus, and I will advocate for you and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm also the National Student Exchange Coordinator here at Whitewater, and I also coordinate global experiences. So a little bit of info. And then I just want you to know that my co-facilitator here is Stephanie Selvik. She is the coordinator for our Pride Center, all things LGBTQ at Whitewater, and she's also a faculty in the Women and Gender Studies field. So hopefully she's here with us today too. She'll be doing the follow-up after I speak. So a little bit about the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Let's see, we have about 12,400 students here, about the same population as our town. We have quite a few first generation students, 4,000. And we pride ourselves with our Center of Students with Disabilities. We have about 1,100 of those students. If any of you did get to watch the Paralympics and you watched the wheelchair basketball final, you would have noticed Whitewater alumni carrying the gold for the USA. So please consider us for that as well. We are very conveniently located. We are just 45 minutes away from the beautiful capital city, Madison, and another hour away from our largest city, Milwaukee, and just 2 hours away from Chicago. So all three of those have very large gay-friendly communities, and they're very close and nearby. So next slide, please. We have 4 colleges here: College of Arts and Communication, College of Business and Economics, College of Education and Professional Studies, College of Letters and Science. We're a very cozy campus. All of our classes are actually taught by faculty. And the class sizes are rather small, just 28 students. So you would get a lot of attention while you're here. Next slide, please. We have an amazing amount of student organization, over 8,200 students participate in our organization. So we welcome you to join any of our campus organizations while you're here. We are a very, very safe campus. Although I must admit today I saw a murder of crows chasing a fox. So you could see something like that happening on our campus. Again, disability friendly. And 4 out of 5 stars for LGBT inclusivity, according to their Campus Pride Index. So Stephanie is here and she will talk more about the services offered for you: academics, infrastructure, and resources. I've been at Whitewater for 13 years and I can tell you it's a wonderful place for you. Next.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Selvik. I use she, her, and they, them pronouns, and I have the pleasure of serving as LGBTQ coordinator, as well as an instructor in women's and gender studies. So this is a photo of our Pride Center. We consider it sort of the hub of LGBTQ student life. It is happily located in the University Center, and it's been on campus since 2008. It was actually opened in honor of a late psychology professor, so it's named the P.B. Poorman Pride Center in honor of the advocacy work that P.B. Poorman did across the UW system. The Pride Center really strives to be a home away from home. And so we have a food pantry, a refrigerator. We're getting a Keurig next week, I've been told. Free menstrual products, really anything a student or a person would need to get through their day, we hope to offer right in the center. Beyond that, it also is a site for student activism and social change on campus, including advocating for inclusive policies and practices. So some of them my colleagues across the room have named already. We have a preferred name policy and easy access. We have a gender pronoun policy and many gender pronouns that are offered as options on our campus and class rosters. And we also offer trans-inclusive healthcare at the health center on campus, including starting and continuing HRT or hormone replacement therapy. And we operate on an informed consent model in the health center. So for students that want to explore trans health options, they're able to do so sort of at their own accord, right? Because they are in charge of their bodies and know what's best for them. Next slide, please. So the Pride Center really operates to offer educational opportunities as well as social opportunities. So some of the educational opportunities include sort of formalized majors and minors. So we do have a major and minor in women's and gender studies. We have a brand new LGBTQ studies certificate, and we were happy to be awarded. We have the most certificate students on campus for any certificate program at school. We also have a diversity leadership certificate. And what I would say about both certificate options is that they really are rooted in advocacy and social change. So what we hope students take away from classes on campus is that what they learn in class can apply to their world outside of class. And students will be given opportunities to really practice that. One of the opportunities is to serve as a student employee in the Pride Center. One of the employment options is a program called the LGBTQ Peer Educator Program. Undergraduate students are trained in diversity facilitation. We go into classrooms and we help complement the curriculum, primarily in social services, where we know students are training to work with LGBTQ people. So that might be counseling programs, psychology classes, social work, education. We have a voice therapy program that works with trans students, and we'll go in there and help share our stories and our experiences. We do on average 40 to 50 trainings a year. And we typically train about 1,000 participants every year. So it's a huge opportunity for students who are wanting to train to do advocacy work or activism. I think I'm ready to move on to the next slide. Yay. So Impact is our LGBTQ student organization. It is the first formalized LGBTQ student support that happened on campus. Impact actually started in the late 80s with students organizing before students could even really be out on campus. They were organizing support for each other. They started as a gay student union in the 80s and they underwent a number of name changes, but in the 90s, they intentionally added allies to their organization name. And they organize all sorts of community building and social opportunities. One you're seeing on the slide in front of us is that we painted a crosswalk rainbow for the very first time last year. It was great fun. They also organized participation to the Midwestern LGBTQ conference that my colleague Will was talking about, which for me is a huge asset to coming to the Midwest. The LGBTQ Midwestern Conference is the largest conference by queer students for queer students. And lots of us in the Midwest regularly attend. We also celebrate some of what I call the high queer holidays, National Coming Out Day, Trans Day of Resilience. We have a Queers Giving, Thanksgiving potluck. We have a holidays, White Elephant gift exchange. Really what we're trying to do is offer students an opportunity to connect with each other because we know that when students connect with each other, they're happier and they're healthier and they do better while they're on campus. That might be our last slide.
I think you're right. Thanks so much, Stephanie and
Awesome.
Dan.
Thank you.
Yes, we have about 12 minutes now for breakout sessions. I'm going to open the rooms. This is an opportunity for you all to, first of all, speakers, presenters, if you can move yourself into your own breakout room.